Okay, there's one more message that God asked me to give that I forgot to. In my last video, which is like the same day that this one's being recorded, I was giving my testimony. I highly would advise you to listen to that one first before you hear this, because this will not make a whole lot of sense if you didn't hear the rest of the testimony. But for those that heard it, I just want to say that there was a point of when during my tormenting time, when after the point when Jesus came to me and said, "You're not my disciple," and then I had that horrible dream about Satan running up my stairs. When those things happen, I would no longer sleep in my bedroom. I started sleeping on the couch in the living room. And the Lord showed me that somebody came into my apartment. This is hard to admit because I don't like to talk about this stuff. I don't like people judging me. Of course, now that I put this out here, I know I'm going to be judged and there's nothing I can do about it, so I might as well just tell the truth. But I know that the Lord showed me that somebody had come into my apartment and raped me. And so with all this trauma going on, I was unable to eat. And when I did eat, it would run right through me. And I lost like a ton of weight in a very short period of time. I became skin and bones. And I was dying. But because I had believed like profoundly that I was going to hell and there was no hope for me, I chose not to go to the doctor about my condition. I just assumed I was going to die, and that judgment had fallen over my head. I didn't really believe at that point that God could even have mercy upon me. And so I was just getting worse and worse. And I remember one day I came home from work and I was on my lunch break because I worked pretty close to my job. I'm sorry, I lived really close to where I worked at the time. And so I came home, and as soon as I walked through the door, the Lord was standing right there in my apartment. And the only thing I really saw was his arm, and then he put his hand through my stomach, and my stomach began to churn. And I remember being very frightened because, you know, I was so oppressed that I couldn't receive from the Lord in the way that a healthy person would. But he healed my stomach at that very moment. I remember like I was able to eat like right after that experience. I didn't have any more, you know, any more symptoms or diarrhea or anything. And I began to put weight on. So he healed me, and it was a miracle because I didn't get any medical treatment and I didn't try to do anything for myself to even recover from that. I just accepted the fact that I was going to die. So I just wanted to add that in because that came to me after I stopped the last video. So, you know, the Lord's always been merciful to me, even throughout all of the things I've been through and all the things I've done wrong. He's good, and he shows his kindness to us at our lowest moments. And also want you to know that he tends to show himself the most when we're going through really bad things. Just like when a person is sick, they're tended to a little bit more closely. People watch and monitor, you know, them. Like if you're in the hospital, like nurses are constantly coming in and out of the room, the doctors, and just like that, like God in the same way, when you're really sick, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, he is right there by your side, a little bit more closer than usual, and he will reveal himself and do things to let you know how much he cares about you, how much he loves you. So, you know, I noticed that after I got better, after I started to heal in all these areas, that I don't experience those moments in the same way. You know, I know that God is there, but because I'm more healthy, I don't need him to be as attentive in the same way. So, not that I wouldn't want him to be. I'm not expressing that at all, but that's just how it is. So hope you can, you know, whoever that's for, pray that you receive that and hear that, and to God be the glory in all things.